We're going to go ahead and focus on some of the elements that become part of forms that you might use in your mobile application. I've gone ahead and already created a brand new project and created links to the necessary scripts and CSS for jQuery Mobile. We're going to start by creating some checkboxes. So to create checkboxes, the first thing we use is a field set tag. So I'm going to go ahead here, and oops, we're in all caps there, I don't want to do that. Field set, we're going to use the data role attribute, and the data role is going to be a control group. We'll close our field set, and inside the field set, I'm going to put my labels and my inputs. So let's put a legend, and we'll say choose your favorite bands. All right. So now here in the field set, first of all, I'll say input type equals checkbox, name equals Journey, we'll name it after the band. ID equals Journey. And we'll set this one to checked, meaning that it'll be checked by default. And then we'll do label for Journey. And that, of course, will be Journey, because that's a band name. Label. All right, let's add a few more bands. I'm going to use copy and paste, and we'll add 3 more bands. So there's Journey. Let's make the next one Heart. I actually met the members of Heart in the Detroit airport last year. They were very, very nice. One of my favorite bands. And then we'll go with REO Speedwagon for the next one. We'll just abbreviate the name and ID as REO. If you're not familiar with these bands, you might be too young, or these are American classic rock bands. And finally, let's make the last one. We've got Journey. Let's do Survivor. So we'll change it in the necessary places. There we go. Gotta love copy and paste when it makes you faster. The only problem is sometimes, at least I do this, you copy and paste your mistakes. All right, so now we've got everything we need to display our checkboxes. Let's go ahead and see if we can see how this looks. We'll preview it in a browser. So there we are in Chrome. You have an idea how it would look on a device. Now the reason all of them were checked is, just like I said, copied and pasted my mistakes. Let's go ahead and get rid of the checked attribute on all but the first one. There we go. And now let's take a look. So if I refresh, now only the first one is checked. Notice, by the way, I can click on the label or on the box itself, and these get a checkbox. So checkboxes in jQuery, I like them. I think they look good, and they're pretty easy to set up. Now, radio buttons are very similar to checkboxes, except they work as a team, and of course, only one from the group can be selected. So let's go ahead and do some radio buttons here in jQuery. So again, we'll do field set, data role. Again, it's a control group. We'll close the field set. So again, this is when you're supposed to choose one from a group. So let's use gender for this one. So your gender is usually male or female. Type equals, and instead of checkbox, this will be radio. And I'll do the same technique. Name, ID, all the same. So male, ID, male. And we'll have this checked. Maybe radioed would be a better word. And then we have the label for male. It is male. That's the word that the user sees there, which is contained within the element. All right, we'll copy that, and let's just real quickly make this female, which is the other option. Now, of course, you can have more than one choice here. It doesn't have to be just two choices. You could have 30 choices, but you can only choose one from the group. And let me correct my typos. That should be male. This should be female. All right, and hopefully I did all that right. We'll take a look, and there we go. Now, you might notice that for right now, these are not really functioning as a team. I can choose both of them, which is not the way we want radio buttons to work. And that's because as I was doing this, I made a mistake. We want the name to be the same, this is basic HTML here, for all the ones that are part of the group. So I made the name for both of them gender, and now hopefully, yep, now they work together. So we can only select one or the other, which is exactly how radio buttons should work. All right, next we're going to work on a select box. So a select box is what you probably previously called a drop-down. So from the drop-down, the user can select one or sometimes more of the options. So we'll put this below the field set for our male and female radio buttons. And again, here we'll say label 4, and this will be foods. I like talking about foods. I must be hungry right now. Class equals select. Favorite food will be the actual label text. Right, so now we have our select box. Name equals foods. ID equals foods. And within the select element, we're going to put our options. So here the jQuery mobile doesn't really do much to change, what we would typically do with this type of box. This type of box is good if you have limited screen real estate and you only want to display one line. So we'll do Chinese, Japanese food. Let's do Greek. Let's be consistent with our casing here. And the last one, I had this for lunch yesterday, we'll do Vietnamese. Love the pho noodle soup. Although a Vietnamese programmer who once worked for me called it pho, said it's supposed to pronounce it pho noodle soup. All right, so there's our select box. Let's bring up our browser and see we get that pop-up. So it's not completely like you might see in a mobile device, but still it's pretty good. definitely better than the experience without doing much to change the look and feel of it outside of jQuery Mobile. Okay, so the last one that I want to do for the form is the HTML5 slider. So let's go ahead and label for slider, and let's go ahead and make the label say rating. And then we use, just like we would in HTML, input type equals range, name equals slider, ID equals slider, and we'll give it a value. We'll start it at 0, a minimum of 0, and a max value of 0. All right, and we'll refresh one more time here. And I'm going to make this a little bigger. And there's our slider. What I like is that it automatically, that should be 100, that's why it wasn't moving. It automatically puts this value right here, which doesn't happen in HTML. Makes the slider a lot more user-friendly. And of course, this looks an awful lot like the slider out of iOS. So there you can see there are several examples of form fields done in jQuery Mobile to give you an idea of creating nice mobile-looking forms in HTML5 PhoneGap with the jQuery Mobile.